Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still slot chopper. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it.
Look at Johnson! They haven't got it! He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still slot chopper. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome back to Sunday night for the IGPFun F3 Round 10 live from the Twin Ring Motegi, or the Mobility Resort Motegi as it is known now after changing its name in 2022. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by one Mr. Ewan O'Leary this evening, who's going to be here once more joining me for this absolute epic evening of racing. And as always goes, we are coming to the end of qualifying. Just about very, very shortly, we will be able to have enough time to bring up the championship results for you. Kenzie Newhoff is currently out in front on 280 points, with Lee Aberdeen in second on 278. Luca Varani in third on 276. Will McIntyre 273. Kevin Swemstra 271. Antonio Jimenez 263. Victor Barris is in seventh on 257. Alex Laledo in 8th on 253. Andy Flint in 9th on 238. Evan Wade 10th, 235. Christian Glamsita on 219. Adam Talmsma in 12th on 205. Pedro Suarez in 13th on 197. Chuck Morrow 14th on 192. And Marcius Putnieks behind that on 188. And then beyond that, we've got Vyacheslav Potapenko in 16th on 183. Jack Williams on 17th on 176. Edward Amos on 168. Marek Otlov's 19th on 154. Lucas Marek 153. Zach Weir 146. Koji Ito 143. Steve Ridders 136. Zoltan Zamota 132. Irvin Silmakins on 129 and in 25th place. Then on to 30 we go with Jakub Olezwinski in 127, Reno Scatini, Max Bartolotta, Paolo Brem and John McKenzie rounds out top 30 there. But you have listened to me ramble on enough. Let's bring Ewan into the booth. Good evening, young sir. How are you?
Good evening. Glad to be back again on this series and great to see a really exciting championship going right down to the wire now. Only 3 rounds remaining in this series, and it is as close as it pretty much could be. the top 5, separated by just 9 points with these rounds remaining now. It's very, very exciting indeed. And the first time in quite a while we've seen a different championship leader as well, because it's been quite a dominant display so far this season from Lee Aberdeen. But in these last few weeks, he's just started to show a couple of signs of weakness and a few chances to some others that maybe this championship fight is still on. And it's still absolutely up for grabs, which of course it is.
Oh yeah, anyone from that top 5 could go and get this championship. You know, Newhoff, Aberdeen, Varani, McIntyre, Wemstra, even Antonio Jimenez might be able to get it as well in 6th on 263. But you know, they've got to be able to be consistent with it. Newhoff, Aberdeen, Varani, McIntyre, Wemstra, you know, they're all always been there or thereabouts, and there's never really been any real major issues for them, you know. And you can look at Lee Aberdeen's stats, of course. Average start is second, the average finish is 9th. But if you go to Newhoff, his average start is 9th, his average finish is 8th. But then he always has a very intermittent qualifying, but then kind of shines through on the race, I feel.
Yeah, we have seen this a little bit different actually in terms of race and qualifying pace. I found this especially with the likes of Newhoff and Dwemstra, who really find themselves going through the order quite well in the race, but not quite so much in qualifying. It's an interesting kind of dynamic, but I'm not sure how easy that tactic's going to be here today at Motegi. It's not one of those circuits that is overly easy to overtake, but then again, it's not overly difficult either. So there should be opportunities, and there's a fairly short orange zone at the start of the race as well, which is good to see for those trying to make up positions, because only the first 2 corners are covered by that no overtaking zone. After that, everyone will be let loose, and that does help those who want to come through the field.
Yeah, it definitely does. What are we thinking for overtaking positions? You know, you've got this long run from 10 to 11. That's got to be sure an opportunity for someone. Through 12, 13, 14 they go, and then they've got 14 to 1, which isn't a massively long run, but is it still long enough, do we think, that their capabilities of making an overtake down into 1?
I'm not overly confident, I've got to say, because of the way that you set up through there. You can't really apply too much pressure through the final corners of this lap. The last corner not ideal, and the braking zone for turn 1 is really short, especially in these cars, which weigh basically nothing. So you're really going to struggle towards turn 1, I think. Turn 2, better chance. Turn 4, really good chance, I think, down at the end here. Nice corner to open out onto the straight, and then there should be a chance in towards turn 4. And I don't know whether we're going to see loads of moves in towards turn 11 and overtakes, but we are going to see incidents throughout the day, because it's a downhill braking zone to that 90-degree corner, or it looks 90 degrees anyway. I think it's actually slightly tighter than that, and it always seems to be a little bit misconceived by the drivers, not at least on their own, but also in, well, there you are. There's an example. I think it's Putnik's maybe out of the corner, but yeah, we are going to see incidents down there, because it's a tricky corner on your own, especially side by side. It will be even worse.
Yeah, definitely there as well. Ridgeway Racing, welcome in. Good luck to iGPFun drivers, and then Ramax. Hello, hope you're well. Thank you for joining us. Much love to you. Don't forget thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the bells. Absolutely amazing. As we're in the last minute and short change of qualifying, of course. And it is the surprise of Victor Barris currently out in front here, Ewan. I don't think that was one we could have seen coming.
A little bit of a surprise, yeah, but we can't, we can't say he's a bad driver by any means. He's still in 7th place in this championship. He's only 23 points off Newhoff at the top, so he's not out of it at all, but does need to string together quite some results towards the end here. And yeah, it is a little bit of a surprise, we can say. Because of the way he's gone this season, but especially in the last few weeks, he's been running well. Second at the Hungaroring, in the top 5, 5th place at Donington, and 4th at Imola. So the last 3 weeks he's been inside the top 5. It was a top 10 back at Brands Hatch as well. So that's a nice little string of results, and clearly he's been getting confidence from that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's one of the things you've got to have. These cars that remind me of real life, Formula 1, Formula Fords, Formula 2s, all that, they've got to have the confidence to be able to sling these cars in. you know, and if they haven't got the confidence in it, it's going to really struggle. You know, you can look at some of Barris's results. Yeah, you know, you can get that from the average start is 11th and his average finish is 12th. So to come down on your average after you start place is a little bit of a tough one. It looks like Luca Varani may have had a little bit of a incident, but really they may have parked it there himself. And Victor Barris still going round, of course. But can Barris hold on? Do we think he's quick enough to hold on to the likes of Aberdeen, Varani, Flint, Newhoff, Bartolotta? Can he do it, do we reckon?
I'm not sure whether he'll be able to catch up for the title, unfortunately, but I think those average positions are a bit misleading. I think qualifying may be representative, because in these half-an-hour sessions you very rarely get interrupted, really, in this session. However, in the race you very much can, and there's a couple of races down at the start of the season back at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park especially, where he was way outside of the points paying positions and finished a long way down. Had a couple of problems at Manicourt as well, which put him down a little bit further. So I'm not reading too much into those average positions, because especially that race at Mosport, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, that really will hurt him in terms of his average finish. Kevin Zwemstra gets his best lap in right at the death there. You don't often see that.
I did, Jay. Jay bounced himself up into 5th place, 142.617 for Zwemstra there. So there's still a couple of cars left out on track currently at the moment. Just wait for these to all go back through so we bring you the results up. And that would be awesome. There's Adam Townsma, Dorian Oreo, 143.817. Current best in 31st place. Says no overtaking from turn 1 to turn 2. Turn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all open to go for it if you feel you're able to make it. So get your popcorns in then, guys. Get ready to go. Welcome in. Paul LeMay, good evening, guys. Good evening to you. Phil across the pond, evening all again. Good evening. Hope you are well. It's been a very busy evening so far on the JPB YouTube channel tonight. And we can bring you up the grid here once more. And it is Barris out in front with Lee Aberdeen in 2nd, Luca Varani 3rd, Andy Flint 4th, Kevin Zwemstra 5th, Kenzie Newhoff 6th, Bartolotta in 7th, Alex Laledo 8th, Christian Glamseater 9th, Tony Jimenez 10th, Pedro Suarez 11th, and Ryan Berry down in 12th place. Evan Way in 13th, Clark Williams 14th, Sergio Cacafaro 15th, Vyacheslav Podopenko 16th, Jakub Olezwinski 17th, Koji Ito in 18th, Marcius Putniks in 19th, Zoltan Zamota 20th, Irvins Tumakans in 21st, Townsmat in 22nd, Paolo Brem 23rd, Reed Dennis is in 24th, Chuck Morrow 25th, Marcello Kessler in 26th, Philippe Lucas 27th, Reno Scattini 28th, Edward Amos 29th, John McKenzie down in 30th, Dorian Oreo 31st, Arturo Mayorga 32nd, Michael LeMay is in 33rd, Matthew Gracie 34th, Alistair Hay 35th, and Maximilian Gerbert. That is one I was not expected to read on the list today.
Maybe that's why Paul LeMay is watching, because I was surprised to see that. But there we are. Michael LeMay seems to be on the grid. Wouldn't it be nice if he had the same livery as he does in the Radicals on a Thursday night? It's not dissimilar, is it? You can see on the bottom left there.
Yeah, he's almost there. Almost there. So, yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on Michael, of course. Michael takes part in the Radicals Sim Racing on a Thursday, which me and Ewan have the pleasure of commentating on once more here. Just waiting for a few more to get on to track. I was not expecting Michael LeMay, I'm not going to lie. Well, there you go, Paul. Now we know why you're here. So, let's see. Lights. Hopefully, as Paolo Brem gets on, I don't think Manuel Cruz is going to make this. Got a funny feeling. The lights are going to be coming on. We are going to be ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are lights out and away we go. It's a very stationary as they are start, but once they get round turn 1, it is all for the racing. So we're going now, coming out of the final part of the purple zone. And it won't be very long before we're up and running. And it is now. We are go here. Everybody trying to come through as well. Bartolotta is trying to make a move on the inside here. from Max Bartolotta from Italy and Alex Laledo, Kenzie Newhoff, Kevin Swenstra. No swappers in the top 9, but Tony Jimenez, Pedro Suarez, Brian Berry and Clark Williams have all gained positions there as well. And Michael LeMay is down 1 currently at the moment, Ewan, but it is pretty much for the top guys as they were.
Yeah, top 8 or so, as far as I can tell, staying as they were. But Christian Glamsnitter went off the road down at turn 1 there. You will have seen it on the on that long shot from turn 2 down the straight. He just ran wide there, really, and got himself into all kinds of trouble, lost loads of places, and that was the only positional change, really. Victor Barris has really made use of this pole position and already stretches out a 1 second advantage.
Yeah, he's at nearly 1 second out as they're going round turn 10 now, down through in that long straightaway. This is where we're expecting most of what we can see. It's going to be a bit of a flyby, and we'll see if anyone can make that turn 2. Is Luca Varani going to make that move down? He's not. Andy Flint is also another one. He's definitely not going to make it either. And it doesn't seem to be playing a bigger part. What about Potapenko here? Nothing for him in 17th currently at the moment. He's down 1. Glamsnitter is up 1. Now he's back up into 16th after getting past Potapenko, but it is still a current full grid of 37 cars there, and Michael LeMay is up 1 as well, nearly fighting in the battle further down the order. We're going to have a look back at that one very, very shortly. Tony Jimenez mixing it up in 9th, Pedro Suarez as well, and Cacafero are in 15th and 14th, 13th respectively here, Ewan. It's getting very close down through that midsection.
It is, as they're finally now allowed to fight one another a little bit more fiercely. It's certainly kicked off a little bit in the mid-pack kind of region. But no positional change here for any of these guys, really. They'll stay single file through this moment, and we'll start to get a feel now as to just how our predictions about overtaking are going to stand up. There's a bit of side-by-side, it's a bit further down outside the top 10, top 20 even. But it's certainly possible, and it's through turn 4. They go underneath the old oval, and they'll go side by side into the S's. Very close.
Yeah, Paolo Brem and Chuck Morrow fighting it out here, side by side currently at the moment. Still battling. Morrow does yield to Brem, as Paolo Brem says, no, I'm not going to let you take it. I'm coming back at you, and that's what he did do there as well. And Tony Jimenez here in the Drive X Esports team. He's got Pedro Suarez in behind him and Alex Laledo in front of him currently at the moment from the NetLife Racing Forces and the Hydro Racing Forces, of course. And it is Pedro Suarez. Now, we know what Suarez can do, but he doesn't always do it cleanly, does he? I think that we've seen a few mistakes from Suarez that were probably over his own doing.
Unfortunately, in the previous round, he's been he got disqualified from the race at Imola, unfortunately, and also disqualified at Jerez because of a suspended penalty which was activated. So that's a real shame for him in terms of the incidents that he suffered throughout the last round. But back for more and looking to do a bit better this time. He's inside the top 10. Behind Tony Jimenez at the moment, but that has dealt him quite a lot of damage in this championship. Now down to 197 points, which is P13, and nearly 100 away from Kenzie Newhoff at the front of the standings. So it's a long hope for him now to win the title, but he's in the top 10 for the moment.
Yeah, Lucas and Dennis just going past. Lucas overtaking Dennis there. Dropping it through with Reed Dennis, Marcello Kessler, Marino Scattini, Edward Amos. It's important for Amos this race, guys, as well, because in the 2.5K standings, Potapenko is out in front by 1 point. And at the moment, Amos is down in 28th and Potapenko is all the way up in 17th. So that gap could get quite extended as well. And with Koji Ito only 11 points back, but it's also ahead of Amos at the same time. It could cost Amos in that 2.5K category there as well. So from his point of view, he's going to have to be careful. Chop Morrow has just gone past Dorian Oreo, and Michael LeMay is there as well in 30th place currently at the moment. Not far off getting in with John McKenzie. He's about a second up the road. Dorian Oreo has got Chop Morrow literally just about to overtake him there as well, and Morrow has gone through. Lee Aberdeen is not shifting off Luca Varani yet here, Ewan, and well, to be honest, I wasn't expecting him to get rid of Varane.
No, not so much really. We'd often see this from Aberdeen, the fact that he gets to the front, gets pole position and stays there. Defends from the front, keeps everybody behind, but in recent weeks he's not been getting pole position and he's not been keeping people behind either. Has been struggling that little bit. Varane and Flint are the ones to put all that pressure onto him at the moment, and it's important as well. Paris is being allowed to get away, but they'll accept that. It's about overtaking Aberdeen here, because Varane is of course up there in the championship. He is third, only 2 points behind Lee Aberdeen. You really can't afford to be losing more points. You ideally want to gain one here on Aberdeen in front.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important for Varane. You know, hopefully he will. It's really tough at times, I think. Because obviously sometimes we've seen Varane get himself into positions and doesn't use that kind of grrr that we want, that aggressive nature to be able to try and overtake the cars, and sometimes that costs him, and he ends up dropping back a few places. You know, he's got Flint climbing up behind him as well currently at the moment. Flint there in 4th place, but I think from Varane's point of view, he's clearly got the pace, he's clearly got the ability, but he just, I don't know, it's weird watching him this season. I thought that certain times when he is in certain parts of the racetrack, like now, you know, you want to just see more from him, but there's been a few races that he just ended up, well, coming backwards rather than trying to go forward.
Well, I would argue that this is one of the reasons why he's up there in the championship, because he is, thinking with, it sounds bizarre to say, but thinking, using his brain.
Yeah.
And just and keeping things sensible. If you look at the last round at Imola only 1 week ago, that counted as a drop round for him, and it was only a 9th place finish. That shows you a lot about the season that he's had. He had a DNS, of course, but all of the other races, he's been right up there, and he's been finishing very, very well. An average of 5th position this season, which is a gain on his starting position as well. So he does move forward without over aggression, and also gets to the end of every single race that he started, and mostly inside the top 5 as well. So I don't think we can criticise his driving style too much at all, because it has got him to where he is now.
Yeah, I know. But we got, a bit more. That's what I want to see. No wins. I think that's the thing.
I know he hasn't got a win. He's not about the show though. He's about the championship by the end, and if he wins the championship by not winning a race, he will not care.
Yeah, I know, but you know what we're like. We're a bit more like, come on, give it some. Have a go, sir. And he is trying to get onto the back of Lee Aberdeen here. Look at Varane as well, going down into turn 11. Aberdeen does not like that corner. The last couple of laps we've been sat here, and he just has not liked that corner whatsoever. Adam Townsma, is he going to go and try and have a go through Irvin's Tumikins? He's not either. What about Reno Scatini over Reed Dennis? Is this going to be coming as well? They're not. What about Michael LeMay on Chop Morrow? Oh, no, definitely not either as well. And that is the last of the possible overtakes here on this circuit, as these guys wiggle their way round here as well. And now Morrow opens up the gap a little bit, and Edward Amos has got to try and do something here, and something that he can really kind of, that isn't it. You don't want to be losing places to Chuck Morrow, because you're going to be jeopardising your own standards with Potapenko and Koji Ito. Glam Sita and Olizwinski are battling backwards and forwards. That's just flicked around a couple of times as well. And Cacafero's in the mix as well for good health, and Glam Sita is just about to go up the inside of Cacafero. Left him. He got it done, didn't he?
He did, but it was quite close. And Glam Sita, of course, regaining some of those places that he lost. Qualified in 9th place actually, but down to 14th, and he's actually regained 3 of those that he lost in those opening laps. So that's a decent recovery so far from him, but still got a long way to go to get back to even where he started in this race. A really unideal start, and you kind of scratch your head a little bit and figure out how he's managed it as well, because you aren't even allowed to overtake in the opening moments. Obviously, if someone goes off the road, then you're not going to have to slow up to let them back in or whatever. That would be silly. This is the incident though. He's barely got anyone alongside him. He just drives in the grass on his own, and of course everybody gains the places as a result. That's all within the rules on their part. It's just a silly mistake really from Glam Sita that's cost him quite dearly.
Yeah. To be fair, the last person to go off track was Chuck Morrow, and that was on lap 3, and we're on lap 7 now, and nobody else has ventured at all off the circuit. So great stunning job by them, really, when you think about it, considering we've got 37 cars running here currently at the moment. Vyacheslav Potapenko and Marcis Putnieks there. Putnieks has just gone past Potapenko. Kakafero is now going past Jakub Olezwinski, running side by side, coming down into turn 3 here. Kakafero has gone through, and then further down, Chuck Morrow, Paolo Brown.
Spoke too soon about the off tracks and the incidents.
I've got a funny feeling there was contact there.
Yes, there certainly was.
Yes.
Judging by the way that
the car
launched up into the air.
I've got a funny feeling Paolo Brem. No, there wasn't.
Oh, there was. There surely was. There certainly was contact there. There are a few things I've been more sure about. No, 100% convinced on my part there. That's absolute contact with the yellow car there, whoever that is.
That's Chuck Morrow. I want to look at something.
Okay.
I've got a funny feeling. Yes, I know what you're saying, and it should be, but there's a gap.
It's hard to tell from that angle, but yeah, there's absolute contact there. There's no doubt about that. I don't think Brem gave quite enough room on the outside of turn 1 there, is how I judge that. It's quite harsh on him, really, but I don't think he quite gave enough room, and in the end, he's the one who's paid the price for that.
Yeah, Villarreal has gone off as well, unfortunately for him, but it is still going on up front with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani. It just looks like these guys are unfortunately in a bit of a draft train here. Jakub Olezwinski has got Kakafero in front of him, Marcis Putnieks behind him. Marcello Kessler is also just still behind Reed Dennis, and it does seem very much like we've got a bit of a, I don't know, I want to say a draft fest, but we've got Potapenko and Putnieks still going at it, but they're not really swapping places either. Putnieks in that Latvian Arrows car. I've got a funny feeling that's a new livery this week, because it does look completely different to the last one they had as well, but it does look very, very nice. I don't remember that livery last week, do you?
Well, I wasn't here last week, but,
no,
but yes, I don't believe so. I did love the Arrows livery cars, by the way, Formula 1 back in the day. So,
oh yeah,
it would be fantastic. Although there's a lot more white on this one than there was on those cars back in the day. He's certainly doing a lot of defending right now from a car that looks a lot more like an Arrows, if I'm honest with you, in the form of Potapenko. There he is. I'm not sure that's what they've based their livery on, but there he is, just in behind. Koji Ito as well, Adam Talsma, Zamota, and then this will be a lap driver. Can't see. Oh, I don't know, but anyway, it's all stemming from 17th place, and Putniks still leading the train around.
Yeah, he is there as well. Talsma is in it. There's no Putnieks, Potapenko, Ito, Termokins. Termokins is just trying to go up the side of Ito down into 11th currently at the moment. Ervins Termokins, he is through in the Latvian Arrows second car there as well. So well done, stellar job from him. There's been no major moves up front. Putnieks, Potapenko, no Amos, unfortunately still having a bit of a horrid time further down the order. Maximilian Gerhardt with Alistair Hay. Both men have not had the ideal start to this race currently here as well. But Reed Dennis still fighting away with Kessler. Kessler's going to have a go down into turn 1. No. Dennis manages to hold on to that position. Oh, he gets a bit of a slide on though. Kessler's had to go all the way to the left-hand side. Is he going to be able to make it? Surely he's not going to be able to run him around the outside of 3. He's going to be looking at trying to come back underneath him, I would have thought. Going into 4. No job there done either as well. But this Potapenko group, and Potapenko and Putnieks, all nice and tight in the midfield. This is a battle for 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th and 21st here on your screen currently at the moment.
Potapenko has got through though. Putnieks, who was holding them all off previously, but that's no longer the case. And so we've got Potapenko in front, although maybe not for so long. It was Putnieks looking to the outside down at turn 9. Oh dear, and there's contact there for sure as well.
That was contact.
Yeah, that certainly was contact. I think it was Koji Ito just behind, wasn't it? Yes, I think so. And he might have a case to answer in the steward's room afterwards, because Putnick's here was just minding his own business, really.
It's his teammate.
And gets hit there.
That's his teammate.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's not Ito at all, is it?
It's Termicans.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, there we go.
Well, that is drama.
Put the X and Termicans having a coming together. Not ideal. I was going to say, Ito was one back from that, and unfortunately for him, he's dropped all the way down the order. Few free positions there. Michael LeMay is another beneficiary of that. Put the X is in the pits, and LeMay is up 5 in 28. But believe it or not, Michael LeMay is the highest gainer in the whole entire race.
Wow.
Up 5 places.
That's somewhat of a surprise, actually. To only 5 places. We normally see someone absolutely storming through everybody. By the way, I do see Philip Lucas actually having gained 6 so far. So I don't know whether that just changed, but yeah, I do think we have someone to beat him. But yeah, there's plenty of time remaining and plenty of places to make up as well.
Yeah, it definitely is. Chop Morrow, Reno Scatini battling away here. Morrow on the inside manages to make that move past Scatini. Now he's got Kessler to chase after him as well, but Scatini is not going to be able to not going to give this up. With 18 laps remaining, it's going to be surely not looking around the outside of 7 and 8. That would just be completely suicidal from Scatini. Got to try and at least stay with him through 9 and maybe try and get him on the run from 10 down to 11 would be a good idea. Up front they are still as they were. Bartolotta's gotten a little bit under pressure from Alex Laledo in 8th place here. So might see how this one turns out. And Pedro Suarez and Jimenez are very nose to tail as well. So Tony Jimenez is basically looking at that car of Pedro Suarez consistently. Turn round turn 2. What? This seems a very... Like, I almost want to sit back and say it's a bit of a draft-festy race currently at the moment. It doesn't seem to be nobody can really make big gains, and people that are gaining are basically capitalising from other people's mistakes. It doesn't look like, in general, that they're able to really go side by side, battle away like we have seen on certain tracks.
I don't know if draft fest is quite the word, because that's not something usually associated with such short racing, especially in the in F3 cars. However, it does seem a little bit like there's nowhere to go really for these drivers, somewhat in terms of overtaking. I don't think we can count Varani into that. Generally, he does do this over the course of a race, but certainly some others, like in this group here, can maybe be wondering where's this move going to come from and so on. But the battling really is a little bit further down. The positional changing anyway has certainly come a little bit further down, but Lader's going to have a chance here towards turn 11. Get very close, and he'll have a look down the inside this time. But Bartolotta, in his defence, goes way too late on the brakes. He goes into the gravel himself and gives us a few places away.
Yeah, and he's gone back to the pits. So unless he's decided enough is enough for Bartolotta, yeah, unfortunately for him, goes straight back to the pits. And that would be the end of Bartolotta's evening here. And as we say that, Reed Dennis has just lost a place to Chop Morrow. Morrow seems to be a kind of one that's on the move here as well. So Morrow trying to make his way through the order. Got Jimenez, Laledo and Suarez. You would have hoped that the fact of what we've seen from Suarez previously, obviously apart from the DQs that he's had, as I say that, he's just about to go and have a look up the inside of Jimenez, and he does make it through. Suarez there with a brave move, I think, on Tony Jimenez going down into turn 5. And Clark Williams here as well, battling away the 98 car with Ryan Berry, and Berry's gone there as well. Williams has just passed Berry. Berry did pass Williams previously, and Williams has just taken that position back there as well. But Scatini, side by side, still having to go with Reed Dennis further down on lap 12 of 28, side by side going round the into turn 7. He is a brave man to run too wide around that corner. I'm not going to lie. And it does jeopardise his exit. Weird, but John McKenzie coming back through, and Edward Amos, who definitely needs these positions to keep his hope alive in the 2.5K championship, of course. So it's more further down we're seeing a lot of swaps than we are within, well, the top 6 have not moved from where they started. So Newhoff still 6, started 6, still in 6. Barrett's 1 and 1, Aberdeen 2 and 2, and Varani 3 and 3, Flint 4 and 4, and Webster 5 and 5. So they've not really moved at all. But the base of the movement seems to be down here, further down the order with the other guys.
Yeah, it certainly is in the first half of this race. Down the inside for Scattini, and he will get through. It does look like maybe Townsville went off there at the final couple of corners. There must have been some form of contact there, because you don't normally end up out there on your own. Although I'm not entirely sure who it actually was. Could have been Townsville.
Yeah, it was.
Actually, it was. Yeah, it just spins on his own. Well, that's somewhat of a surprise. But
watch his
yeah,
curb.
It's important. Yeah,
he gets on the curb.
Before the curb.
Yeah.
It's even before he's already losing it. So that's not ideal. But it is important for the 2500 category, as you mentioned. Potspenko is leading the championship, but I still think there's 5 drivers involved there, because you've got Edward Amos 3 points behind, Koji Ito is 12 points behind, Rudolf Scattini only 34 points behind, and 36 points behind is Paolo Brem. So I think it's they're very much up there and can do well. And the advantage for them as well is the fact that you can actually gain a lot of places over the course of the day, because for the overall guys, they qualify at the front. There aren't many overtakes that they can make when you qualify second or third or whatever it is. But when you're qualifying outside the top 20, there's plenty of space for you to move up.
Yeah, Chuck Morrow's definitely done that. He's up 4 now. He's gained 4 places from where he started. It was an off track further back. John McKenzie, the Scotsman, unfortunately. And Michael LeMay now up another position. He's up 7 at the moment in 26th place. So he is now officially, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the highest gainer of the whole entire race. But Chuck Morrow has not got Marcello Kessler. He did pass him, but Kessler's not giving it up with a fighter to come underneath the old oval. Not raced on since 2010. Unfortunately, that oval, and we are running alongside. You can see it in the background there as well. But Kessler and Morrow, nose to tail, going. Are they going to come down into turn 1? As they are. They are. No difference changes there as well. Ryan Berry has not given up on trying to get past Clark Williams. So these guys are still battling it out further down as well. And also John McKenzie has got Michael LeMay in front of him as well. And that is what John McKenzie currently sees there from Michael LeMay. And LeMay sitting in 26th place. Not giving any time to rest there from John McKenzie. But Lee Aberdeen still up front in the 2nd place, and still Luca Varani behind him.
Yeah, it's this is where the battle is up front. Aberdeen still showing good pace, because they've managed to get rid of Andy Flint now in the 4th position, and even Dwemstra is struggling to keep up with him. Newhoff can't keep up with them either, so there is a lot of pace at the front of the field here, but not too many overtakes for the moment as we're about to cross the halfway mark of this race. But you mentioned the oval there not having been used since 2010. I believe this is a bit of information that is just deep in my brain at the moment and might not be true. It's sort of tenuous fact. I think it was partially destroyed in an earthquake in 2010, because there is quite some tectonic activity around this part of the world, and there certainly was back in that year as well, or around those years. So I think it was partially damaged by that and just never repaired.
Yes, you are correct. The Tohoku earthquake in 2011. Nearly.
11.
Yeah.
So it just coincided really. It wasn't the reason for it.
But then also the IndyCar, the last season of the IndyCar in 2011, it had been dropped from the calendar as an organisers looked to maximise viewing audiences. So, it kind of wasn't going to have anything on it anyway, partly due to the fact that obviously the IndyCar was dropped after that. So it was 2011, the Tohoku earthquake caused damage to the oval. So they didn't race on it from there onwards, which is a bit of a shame actually. But
well, the only series that would go there probably is IndyCar, but the fact that IndyCar doesn't go abroad anymore really at all, well, because Canada's not abroad. Don't argue that. Yeah, so I can't see it happening, unfortunately. But that is a real shame, and yeah, just used for a bit of extra parking on busy weekends.
yeah, you might as well. You know what I mean? So why not? You got to use it for something. And
Yes.
you know, it's used. The thing is, the road circuit now as well is only used for the Super GT, the Super Formula, and the Grand Prix motorcycle racing. So although there is a racetrack there, it's not well utilised within the racing world as such. Do you know what I mean?
Not internationally.
No.
Not internationally. Domestically, it is very important to the Far East kind of motorsport sphere. Is that the right phrase? To that kind of part of the world, it is a very important circuit and one of the big ones. But internationally, yeah, it's not really seen too much recently, unfortunately. But it's a great circuit, and so far, Victor Barris has had it all his own way. Lee Aberdeen can't catch him. Luca Varani can't get through into second for now.
Yeah, nobody's really moving within the top 6 places. Laledo is only up 1. The biggest gainer within the top 10 is Suarez, who is up 3 with Evan Way, who's also up 3 there. So that's the real main movers and shakers. The only man here in the top 15 that lost positions was Glam Sita. Obviously, we saw what he did on turn 1, which, as we said, specifically was a little bit bizarre because it was a no overtaking zone going into 1. But, you know, he did lose a bunch of positions. He's now only down 4 from where he officially should be. So, should be up in 9th, and he's now down in 13th currently at the moment. John McKenzie has not had a good time towards the back end of this field here, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's gone and done another diver off the track, unfortunately, for McKenzie. And it's not looking too good for him, the Scotsman himself here. So what does McKenzie get himself up to? Oh, okay.
It's on the exit. It's actually on power there out of turn 2, which is relatively odd. But you do get comfortable with this car, to be honest. It's really easy to drive and quite easy to fling about a little bit, especially on the exit of corners. It's not so smart on the brakes. You don't really want to be flinging it around then, but on the exits of corners, you really can floor it, and you do get carried away sometimes. And that I'm not saying that's what's happened to McKenzie there, but it's easy to do, even despite the relative ease of this car in terms of controlling it compared to some others on the service. But unfortunately, that's cost him quite a few places down outside the top 20 as we come back up to the leaders.
Yeah, F3 or F4? What would you say?
Well, it depends what for, I guess.
Okay, so favourite car, F3 or F4?
I think to drive and to race would certainly be the F3. Just that little bit of extra speed would suit me. And I think, to be honest, it just I've not driven either of them, but it just looks a bit nicer to drive. Actually, to me, I know it's tricky on the brakes from time to time, but I think it's a bit of fun, and it's not so bad at all to drive. So yeah, I would certainly pick this car. And so far, I think these guys would as well. Varani's applying a lot of pressure now to Aberdeen.
Yeah, he's definitely having a go now with Luca Varani.
He's off.
No. Okay, as we say that. Not ideal. He was applying pressure to Lee Aberdeen. Unfortunately for him now, he's got Andy Flint behind him. So Watkin Flint is not going to be able to make the move round 1, unfortunately. So there was, but then there wasn't. Tesla went off track, and he's dropped back from Morrow in the mix with Scatini as well. For Townsman's issue, he's got the ever-looming Chuck Morrow, who's up 4 places currently at the moment. Dorian Oreo is up 4. He's right behind LeMay, who's up 7 in 26th at the moment as well. But it is this Townsman Morrow bottle. I've got a funny feeling Morrow's just on our inside, and he is. And it was job done for Chuck Morrow over Adam Townsman there. So well done for him. And that was obviously going down into turn 1 and 2. So, you know, nice little move from Chuck Morrow. He's definitely on the move through the field.
He is on the move. And up into 20th place now. That's up 5 so far today. Not quite as much as Philip Lucas, who's up 8 so far. Michael LeMay up 7. So there are a couple who have done a bit better than him, but he's still coming under fire here in towards turn 4. That's Townsburg down the inside. Looks like he'll retake that place actually into the top 20. So Townsburg back through again. Kessler will catch up as well as a result.
Yeah, Kessler's going to try and have a go here. Get himself involved in the mix. Morrow, as I say, is looking, well, he was looking quite racy. I don't know if now we would be looking at an area within the tyre limits about how we're looking at with them. I don't think it's going to be exceptionally, it's only 24 degrees. I didn't think I was going to be looking at temperatures like we was in Jerez, which were just incredibly crazy. But here in Japan, it is only 24 degrees and 143.332 for Newhoff up front. Currently in 6th place there, and Andy Flint behind him. So these guys are slowly getting into that battle positions as we go into the last 9 laps. You know, are we going to start seeing these moves? Are we going to start seeing Zwemstra having a go at Flint? You know, that's a back marker. Yeah, that was a lap car. Get apart.
Everyone. Varani there very nearly sailed straight into the back of it, not quite realising what was going on, and then Zwemstra and Newhoff had, Flint and Zwemstra, had to just dart out the way as well. That could have been really nasty actually on the back straight towards turn 4 there, but they all got away with it, and they're getting ever closer. Varani just pushed it a little bit a couple of laps ago, didn't he, to try and overtake Lee Aberdeen, and it's put him into the clutches of those two behind, and maybe he'll just try and hang on to 3rd place now and come in into the pit lane having seen a successful day, because as things stand he would move up to 2nd, I think he would stay in 3rd actually in the championship, but he would close in on the championship lead.
Yeah, Morrow did clear Townsburg in the end now, and we've got Kessler now having a go at Townsburg as well. So it'd be interesting to see if Townsburg can hang on to this position, or if he can go forward in tomorrow, or if is he going to be under pressure from Kessler once more. I do love Kessler's livery. That red and white looks incredible in these cars. So great job from him. So well done, sir. As you can see there as well in full force. Absolutely amazing. I do like that.
That's a change between Suarez and Jimenez, who are going side by side over the line there, I believe. To 8th position. Suarez has gotten back in front, but he's back on the defensive again towards turn 2. Here comes Jimenez on the outside line, very late on the brakes from the Spaniard, and it's going to take a lot for Suarez to hold on, and he does just fend him off there. There'll be another challenge in towards turn 4. It's almost like watching a mirrored replay now, with Jimenez down towards turn 4, late on the brakes again, although slightly earlier this time, with a view to maybe getting a better exit. He won't manage that, and he'll have to stay behind. But these are important moments now for Jimenez, because he is starting to lose touch in the race for the title. 17 points on the way into today. He needs every point that he can possibly muster, given the fact that he's losing another 4 to the championship leader at the moment, but another 7 to Lee Aberdeen, who will probably take over the championship lead, and he would find himself 22 points adrift as things stand.
And it's important for Jimenez to have a go with Suarez here as they're coming down onto the long back straight from turn 10 on that run down into 11. He has looked like he's got back a little bit, about 7 tenths at the moment from Jimenez, so not an ideal exit there. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to challenge that move down into turn 11. What about Luca Varani back up front with Aberdeen is up the road now, 7 tenths, but Flint is half a second back, with Kevin Zwemstra only 3 tenths back from that. And Kenzie Newhoff is a little bit further back, only 8 tenths further back on there as well. So these are one of the closest battles on screen. The other one is Koji Ito here in the blue and white. He is currently chasing down Zoltan Zamota in 17th. He again needs that place to be able to get onto this man, which is Vyacheslav Potapenko, who is currently leading them 2.5 standings, as we say, and he's only leading from 1 point over this man, Edward Amos, who's all the way down in 24th at the moment. So not an ideal run from Amos here at the moment, with Potapenko in 16th.
Yeah, really not ideal. Let's say 1 point going into today. That'll be add 8 points to that. He'll have a 9-point championship lead by the end of the day. And I think he's first of anyone in the 2500 standings, by the way. So, great day for Potapenko, not so much for Amos. They don't score points separately, by the way. They all score points from the same tree, if you like. And so you can put a lot of points into someone, even with drivers who are not in your category, your subcategory. So it's been a great day for Potapenko. But just as easily as this could happen to Amos, it could be roles reversed in 1 week's time.
Yeah, it could be as well. Let's see how it pans out as we go into the last 2 races, of course, here for this IGP. And obviously, the release date is out for next season already. We do start again on the 18th of June for the IGP, so the 18th of June there as well. We've still got 2 races left of Rudskogen and Silverstone. We've rounded out the season at Silverstone, the Grand Prix circuit as well, so not the Legacy one, the Grand Prix one. But Rudskogen Motor Centre, that could be an interesting race as we see a mistake from Potapenko in the background there, unfortunately for him.
That's not good news at all. So what was turning into a fantastic day for him has been cursed by us, seemingly. So we apologise for that. It does seem that's a solo mistake, though. Oh, he's going to grab the wall as well. This could be especially bad for Vyacheslav Potapenko. If there's damage on this car, there'll be real problems here. I think he'll... Oh no, he's going to have to come in. Huge drama. He's going to have to come in.
Yeah, and he's lost that place in the 2.5, I think, to Amos. Amos is going to get it. Potapenko in the pits. Amos is going to go through on the left-hand side. You can see him there. There goes Edward Amos. Now that has just totally jiggled the 2.5K, what we were talking about earlier on, because now Potapenko's out.
Yeah, well, he's not out of the race, but he's had to make a pit stop, and he's out in 29th place, so he'll lose 6 points as things stand, and that'll be a 5-point deficit for him into the final couple of races. Amos, though, will feel as if the world is in his hands at the moment, because that couldn't have got any more fortunate for him.
No, I would definitely go and put a lottery ticket on if I was Edward Amos now, after having that handed to him on a plate. There, Potapenko just making that mistake, caught the curb, and unfortunately went on the gas and just went round there as well. But Townsend and Kessler are currently your closest battle on track at the moment, here sitting down in 20th and 21st place. Can Kessler come through? You know, he had a good race last week. I'm not going to lie. He didn't have any issues that we saw at Donny, you know, all the blinking issues and everything else. He didn't realise, as he said in the car, how bad it actually was. He went away, he reset all the fancy gizmos in the router, and he was talking about all packets and stuff, and I don't quite understand all of that. But anyway, he went away, reset everything completely, and he come back last week, and there wasn't that, he didn't have that issue. So a great job from Kessler to get that sorted out, but he did put his hands up and say, look, you know, hey, I didn't have a clue it was going on, but this is what I did after I watched it and saw it all. So, you know, he come out, and that's how you deal with an issue of what we saw, didn't we? Because it was quite scary what Kessler was providing there, I think, for us.
It was very scary, yeah, and especially scary for those who were in and around him at the time. So thankfully that is going to be resolved, or has been resolved now, as you can see today. Down the inside for Kevin Zwemstra in an important move on Andy Flint. Very important indeed for Zwemstra to get up to 4th place. Just getting a couple of points on Neuhoff, but losing a few more to Aberdeen and so on. It's such a close championship at the moment. Zwemstra going to end the day at less than 10 points off the championship lead, I would say. If things stay as they are, by the way, Aberdeen would be the new championship leader by 2 points ahead of Neuhoff and 3 points ahead of Varani. So it would get even closer between the top 3 if things stay as they are. But as you can see, Neuhoff is pretty close to Flint, who's quite close to Zwemstra as well, who might have something to say here.
Yeah, and of course we've got Varani close to Aberdeen, further up as well for 2nd and 3rd. And then we've got Kessler still having a battle with Townsmer at the moment. But how big of a deal is it for Neuhoff to get past Flint? Are we at the stage now where we're seeing Flint lose a couple of positions? We're looking at a tyre deck that might be coming into effect, because this track can't be easy on tyres, you know, and at the end of the day, there's going to be degradation as it goes on, I think, this week. So there's got to be that issue, because they're running 28 laps at 143. You know, they've been out on that track a long old time already, and there's still going with 4 laps remaining.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the reasons why Neuhoff is all of a sudden coming into his own here, because we know how strong he is in the races. This is unusual for him, so now he's starting to stretch his legs, and now he's starting to make the moves down the inside towards turn 4. That was pretty easy for him in the end on Andy Flynn. He's up into the top 5, and I think he might not be stopped here in the final 5 laps. Certainly with Zwemstra. I don't know if he's quite going to be able to catch Varani and Aberdeen, though.
Yeah, I think that may be a little bit too far off at the moment. There is that 1.7 second gap between Zwemstra and Varani, but Neuhoff is trying to come up and get onto the back of the Alcantech of Zwemstra in front at the moment here as well. So Kevin Zwemstra looks like he could be trying to fight Neuhoff. Neuhoff looks like he could be the man on the move as we come in to the final 4 laps here. Well, overall, we were expecting it to come together. I didn't think it might have been this late, but we'll take on the action regardless of where it is in the racetrack and in the racing itself, as we're on lap 24 of 28. Dorian Oreo looks like he's having a little bit of a battle here with Paolo Brem. Oreo and Brem all the way down in 27th and 28th place at the moment. And he's having a nice little tidy battle there as well. So well done, good job from these two. Still fighting out for the lower positions. Michael LeMay still the highest gainer on 8th. He's still sitting in 25th at the moment. But Kenzie Neuhoff, well, he did what we said. He got onto the back of Zwemstra, and he is now only half a second back at the moment.
It's very close, and he might not be stopped by anyone here. Zwemstra, of course, compatriot of Neuhoff, but I'm not sure whether that's going to come into it at all. Lapped traffic as well, which could be a little bit of a problem, but that's dealt with very quickly. Matthew Gracie, it is, in the 34th position. One of the last running cars, actually, to get points. Maximilian Gebhardt should be the last driver to get points at the moment. But yeah, Neuhoff is really quick late on here. And I guess it shouldn't be too much of a surprise to us. But he really has been conserving, and I think Neuhoff has as well a little bit, because they're both catching Aberdeen and Varani a little bit. Speaking of which, Varani set the fastest lap of anyone that last lap.
Yeah, he does as well. So look at Varani there, still doing an absolute stellar job, still flying nicely in 3rd place. Do we think we're in that settling stage for Varani? Maybe he's thinking, well, do I need to push this situation from where he is currently?
I think that might be what he's thinking, yeah, at this stage. Whether you think he needs to or not might not be relevant. I don't think he is going to, and I think that will be the bottom, the top of it. Andy Flint has been off the road, though, I'm afraid to say.
It's big off the road.
Yeah, at turn 10. Turn 10. He was just behind Zwemstra and Neuhoff, and it's taken him an awful long time to recover from this.
What did he get himself up to, Mr. Flint? Down he goes.
Towards the braking zone, all fine. Speed through the middle's all right. Just power, it's not quite so much so. And he's had a real awkward one trying to get back turned around again with so much traffic oncoming.
He could have gone then.
Well, exactly, yeah. But then he committed to doing this pirouette in the grass and gravel, which takes forever as well.
Yeah. Tough for Flint, I think.
Yeah.
Tough overall there as well. Yeah, but Zwemstra and Neuhoff for having that move, now sitting in 4th and 5th. They have started gaining, obviously, well done. Due to, unfortunately, Andy Flint's error is now down 11th places there as well. Paolo Brem has just lost a place to Dorian Oreo. And Sergio Cacafero has made a move. Christian Glamsey has gone past Jacobo Lewinsky and Ryan Berry. They all got past Andy Flint, of course, while he was sitting on the side of the road there. In the gravel trap, but Neuhoff is definitely looking quick. There's Varani only down the road. Now that gap doesn't look a lot on lap 26, but that is 1.9 seconds still from Zwemstra to Varani's just gone back out to 2. Varani's just gone back out over 1. Neuhoff's trying to come now. Oh, Zwemstra went on the defensive there, didn't he? He definitely went to the right hand side. Here we go now. Coming down into turn 11. Is Neuhoff going to try and cut him back? Nope. But Zwemstra went defensive so early coming out of 10. Did you see, did he? He just went, no, I'm going this way.
Well, he had to, because it's side by side generally through those final corners unadvised, and if you do get yourself jammed down the inside there, there's just no real way you can hang it round the outside. So Swemstra had to do that. It's costing them a lot of time. I think it is going to mean our podium places are solidified here on the penultimate lap, but this battle is going to be fierce here because the Nieuwhof is battling for points. Swemstra is as well. They both need this one dearly. As of right now, Nieuwhof would be trailing Aberdeen by 1 point, but he could tie it up going into the final 2 rounds with this pass for 4th.
Yeah, if he can just get past Swemstra, that's got to be his main goal as they're coming down into turn 5 now from Nieuwhof and Swemstra. He's got to try and get past him. It's without a shadow of a doubt that Nieuwhof has got to try and have a go at Swemstra at some point. Marcius Putnieks looks like he's having a nice little battle further down the order, but I just want to stay where we are currently at the moment here. Nieuwhof looks like he got a better run through the sequence of 7 out of 8. Can he make anything into 9? He's got to try and stay as close. We'll be able to see what Swemstra does as we go from 9 to 10. Because they will, as they go round 10, watch Swemstra. If he's got any ideas on him, he'll come through 10 stay as close as he possibly can. Hoping these back markers, Bellonato there, may go to the other side. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Swemstra does the same. There he goes. Takes over that right-hand side and starts hugging. And then, well, he's come back out early, but then again, I suppose he kind of had a rough idea that that Nieuwhof wasn't going to be close enough.
He's absolutely not close enough, so it's time to get back to the racing line, and that's what he did. Nieuwhof was very scared of spinning that car on the grass there. He's pushing this one to the absolute limit now. He knows how important every single point is going to be in this championship, and so he's going to apply as much pressure for this last one as possible. On to the final lap of the third last race of the season. It's round the outside for turn 1 for Nieuwhof. That won't happen. He'll need the run out of this corner for a go at turn 2. Yeah,
Nieuwhof sitting there now behind him as we go now. Swemstra is defending like absolute crazy. He is trying to defend. He's going to go around the outside, Nieuwhof. Round the outside of 3 and 4. Is he going to have the inside for 5? Has he got him off? He's got him off that inside line. Here comes Nieuwhof now on the run down into 5. He's going to have the inside line there. What a move from Nieuwhof around the outside of 4 and 5. And he manages to clear that inside line that he needed so badly for that turn 5 entry. He literally took it around the outside of 3 and 4. Unbelievable from Kenzie Nieuwhof.
Fantastic racing between the two of them, but a really nice pass from Kenzie Nieuwhof to go around the outside through turn 3. Through turn 2, then turn 3. A magnificent pass, really. And what was really great as well is that at turn 4, he sort of parked his car on the inside line and sort of blocked Swemstra's avenue to try and come back at him as well. He made sure that this position was his. It's not over yet, though. Swemstra's going to come back at him here into the final sector of the race.
Oh, Nieuwhof's on the defence now. He can't get any further over. There's grass at the end here as they're going down into turn 11. Nieuwhof and Swemstra still battling it out. Wriggling now through turn 12 and 13. Victor Barris is going to come across over the line here as well. Great job from Victor there as well, taking the victory. Lee Aberdeen behind, Luca Varani behind that as well. But we're back with the Nieuwhof-Swemstra battle. How's this going to go? It is going to go Nieuwhof way. Nieuwhof does finish it for... Oh, okay.
Oh, dear me.
Not ideal. But there we go.
That was intentional, but they've both crashed into each other. Great battle though, and important for Nieuwhof as well. He'll be tied with Aberdeen going into the next round, with Varani 3 points behind only.
I've got a funny feeling here. We need to make a big deal of this for Victor Barros, because if I'm not mistaken, that's his first win this season. He's had a podium. He's never had a win before today.
Yep, this is his first win this season. He has been, as you say, he has been on the podium, second at the Hungaroring, but no victories just yet. And a fantastic performance from him. As I mentioned earlier on, he's only been getting better as this season has gone on, and that's very commendable indeed. He's been improving all the time. He did go out a bit too hard at the start. You can see the gap 1.7 at the line. That's a lot smaller. It's half of what it was in the final third of that race. He was really struggling at the end of the race, but the work he put in the opening laps, the opening 20 laps, was more than enough to get this victory.
Yeah, and he got a decent jump as well, didn't he? Right at that beginning, he made use of that single line as we see here with Alistair Hay just going over the line, and Arturo Mayorga, who's coming round for the last man on track on 32nd. Well done to him. Philippe Lucas was up 10 places in the end, so he did take for the highest gainers there as well. But yeah, Barris, he made the interesting thing was Barris, he didn't hang around with that purple zone. He kind of had like a second or so gap before it even got out. So he did a stellar job to get that jump there. And I think that was one of the benefits of how he played that race, because then anybody else, Ferrari and Aberdeen, were just battling, which was allowing him to extend the gap. And he managed to hold on to it till the very end. And, and you've got to say, as I say, for a first victory, taking it at Twin Ring is a hard circuit in its own right, Ewan. So he's done an absolute stellar job.
Yeah. There's been a number of great drives up and down the field here today, and it's been a decent race, an important one as well, and only a couple of rounds to go in this season. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. I believe we're at Rutskogen next week.
Yeah, Rutskogen, yeah.
Yeah, we are indeed, before our championship finale at the end of the season. I'm very much looking forward to these final rounds because, it's so close, and the racing... Yeah, just even bettered by these cars as well. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Victor Barris is your winner here this evening. First win of the season, and it's taken him to round 10. But what a win it was over Lee Aberdeen. There was second place. Luca Verani in third. Kenzie Newell fourth. Kevin Swempstra fifth. Alex Lado in sixth place. Pedro Suarez seventh. Tony Jimenez eighth. Evan Way down in ninth. Clark Williams in 10th. Sergio Cacafero in 11th. That's not a bad place for him currently. He's in with that 2.5 championship there as well. He don't get me wrong, he's about 100 points back, but any form of gain is going to be a good gain. Christian Glamsita in 12th. Jakub Olowinski in 13th. Andy Flynn all the way down in 14th after we saw his, 5-point manoeuvre going round, unfortunately, there as well. And did cost him big time. Ryan Berry in 15th, Zoltan Zamota 16th, Philip Lucas 17th, Chop Morrow 18th. Koji Ito is in 19th place there. Higher up than Marcello Kessler, Adam Townsman, Reno Scattini, but more importantly, Edwin Amos as well there. So for Koji Ito, so a great job from him getting out there as well. Over not only Eric Amos, but also Potapenko. So well done for Ito, who was 12 points back, I think he was at the start of this. So great job from him. Amos in 23rd, Reed Dennis 24th, Michael LeMay there in 25th. Great job for him on his first outing. Dorian Oreo 26th, Vyacheslav Potapenko 27th, John McKenzie 28th, Paolo Brem 29th. Another man in the top 5 on the 2.5s there, and he's down in 29th. Maciej Putniks in 30th, Hay 31st, Arturo Mayorga 32nd, Villarreal 33rd, Matthew Gracie 34th, Maximilian Gerhardt in 35th place there. Then Bartolotta, Turmakins and Manuel Cruz were the last ones on in the championship standings. So that was the last finishers there as well. But going forward, Victor Barris, that's stunning. First victory of the season.
A fantastic drive from him as well. As I mentioned, the first 20 laps really won him that race. He got out front, battered the field really, and battered his tyres, unfortunately. Did drop off towards the end, but it didn't matter. When you've performed so well over the opening moments, it's understanding that you've taken a bit out of your tyres, but also you should have built up enough gap to be able to sustain that, and he absolutely did. He's only been getting better as this season has gone on, and it's fantastic to see that now culminate in a win. We're still 2 rounds remaining here for him, and still an outside chance, well, for everyone indeed, still an outside chance of a title as well. 7th place in the standings coming into today, albeit 23 points back. That will have helped him on his way ever so slightly to being a real outsider. If you want someone to put money on at wild odds, then Barris is your man, because he's unlikely, but you never know.
And if you need a bookie, clearly, Ewan's your man. So there we go. Good job. Right.
Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep your money. Be easier. Paul made great move. It was an amazing move from Kenzie Newell off round Swempstra there of 3 and 4 around the outside. Got the inside for 5 there as well. All right, Kenzie, says Demis. Hi, Demis. I'm James. This is Ewan. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in here as well. But that is it for tonight's race, guys. Much love to everybody that's jumped in the booth. Ramex, Ridgeway Racing, Paul LeMay, and Phil across the pond. Thank you so much for joining us. But, well, that's it for me for this week. You will not hear me on the JBB channel as I travel off to mighty Spain tomorrow. So you will be in the capable hands of Ewan, Dan, Biggle, Zach, Callum, and others all coming in to fill the void here as well. So, but there is still great racing coming up later on. We've got the Radical SR8s, Radical Sim Racing SR8s, live from Mount Panorama Bathurst, whichever way you want to put it as well. So stay and get yourselves involved in that. 2 a.m. live time there as well. But for now, from myself and Mr. Ewan O'Leary up in the booth, guys, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.